You're about to listen to Enthusiastically Self-Employed, the podcast created for you as a coach, consultant, speaker, and/or author. I created this podcast for those of us who are enthusiastic about growing our business and learning along the way. My name is Brenda Meller, and I'm your host. Prior to becoming enthusiastically self-employed, I was a corporate marketer who always admired those who were self-employed. Through this podcast, I'll share my learnings and expert guest interviews with you. You'll learn business, marketing, and LinkedIn tips to help you as a solopreneur or small business owner. Remember to follow this show to get the newest podcast episodes loaded into your podcast player of choice. Now let's get started. Welcome back to the podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to feature another member spotlight interview. This is showing Carrie Saunders, who's a member of my Marketing with Meller membership and learning community. And what I do with these interviews is I pick a member of the community and I ask them just to select one product or service or something that they sell, and then we talk about it in the interview. So first, what I do is I ask them a series of questions about themselves, the business, the offering, who's it designed for, how it can help them, etc. And then I open up the Q&A to other members of Marketing with Meller as well. Now, Carrie's going to be talking today about Go High Level. She is a distributor of the platform. She offers this to her clients, and I am very intrigued, I have to say. I've heard about Go High Level, and it was a really nice overview and an introduction to the system. This is an all-in-one platform that is used by course creators. It can also be used by people for membership communities, and it has websites, CRM, calendar booking, scheduling, e-commerce, blogging, a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm using Kajabi right now. And if and when I decide to change platforms, I think Go High Level might be something I look at, especially because it does offer CRM capabilities that I currently don't have with my solution. So with that said, I hope that you enjoy the episode. And now on to the show. Okay. So good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where in the world you're watching from and whether you're watching us live or in playback, or maybe you're even listening to this on the podcast. Today is March 17th, 2026. It is St. Patrick's Day, and it feels a little bit like Groundhog Day, the movie. You all remember that Groundhog Day, the movie, where they replayed the scene over and over again? And funny thing happened today as I was getting ready to interview Carrie Saunders. Actually, at the end of the interview, I looked up. I hadn't recorded it on Zoom at all, and we were like 10 minutes away from the ending. The moment I realized that as soon as there's a pause in our conversation, I announced it to the group and I started the recording, but we only got 9 minutes of it. And then Carrie offered graciously to do it again. And I said, well, let's do it today while everything's still fresh in our minds. So we're going to try to replicate this. So for those of you who are Marketing with Meller members, you might be hearing a slightly different version. If you're listening on the podcast, it's news to you. And the beauty of things happening like this, I always treat these not as mistakes, but as learning experiences. So today, my learning experience was that when platforms make changes, in this case, Zoom made some significant changes today, and I was really distracted by those changes. And because of that, I think I forgot to hit record. Just a reminder for all of you, if your favorite platform is making some changes, don't forget about the basics is my takeaway for all of you. But it's really great because I get to ask some more informed questions of Carrie Saunders today. So with that said, this is a benefit of Marketing with Meller membership. I've moved away from the free for free, which means I no longer offer free webinars and masterclasses. Everything I do offer is now delivered to my clients and to my members. So I get to add more value to all of them. And my podcast is another place I'm doing this. And I've been having people reach out to me asking to come on my podcast as my guest. And I've made the decision. I've got so many great clients and members that are a part of my community. I'm going to be shining the spotlight on them in the podcast interviews. With that said, I'm joined today by Carrie Saunders. So Carrie, if you could please tell us your name and the name of your business.
Thanks, Brenda. So again, my name is Carrie Saunders. My main business name is BCS Engineering, and that does mostly e-commerce clients. And then I also have BCSE Solutions, which does more like course creators, online business owners, and coaches.
Good. And part of the reason I say her name and then I ask her to say her name is I want you all to get some familiarity with her first and last name. And as you're looking her up, you might say, I know Brenda said Carrie, but what was her last name again? And then Carrie just said her last name, Saunders, on here. So that helped you with some of that brand recognition. And Carrie, we're going to be talking about when I do these interviews, these member spotlight interviews, I always ask my members to pick one product or service or area of expertise that we're going to speak about. And what would you like to talk about today?
Today, I'd like to talk about Course Creator Suite, which is our white label version of Go High Level.
Wonderful. So we'll get into that in here. And we're going to do this. I'm going to ask Carrie some questions in the beginning. At the end of the call, we'll open it up to the Marketing with Meller community. Now, the benefit of doing this on Zoom and doing this a second time through is we're repeating this session, and we have some new members that weren't able to join us earlier today that might be listening in the session as well. And I'll just remind you, these are your opportunity to ask Carrie questions about her Course Creator Suite and Go High Level as well. This isn't free coaching. This is more just an opportunity for us to learn more about it. And I'm going to be putting my marketing hat on as we're having the conversation today. My hope is that this will inspire some of you who are Marketing with Meller members who might want to do a spotlight interview in the future. It's a really great experience. And then you can say you've been on a podcast if you haven't been on a podcast yet. And it's a good way of helping to spread the word about some of your offerings as well. All right, so we're going to be talking about Go High Level and your Course Creator Suite. Before we jump into that, Carrie, why don't you tell us a bit of your background as it relates to your business and how you got to where you are today?
Sure. So I started this business in 2002. I said earlier on take one that I was 25. I was technically 24. I was one day shy of 25, but I started this when I was finishing my master's in electrical engineering computer science specialty. And I just found that I could help some small online boutique or some small boutique businesses here get their stores online much faster than having somebody find the help themselves. I could just help them. And one of my top, what do I want to say? One of my top skills is relater. I've got a cat over here distracting me.
That's okay. I was wondering, we were talking about this earlier, that the cat might make an appearance. I was like, oh, yay. I was so excited. I'm like, I hope the cat walks in front of the keyboard because I haven't had a cat in the house in probably 15 years. And my dog Pepper never comes into the screen. So whenever I get to see pets, I'm like super excited. So
yeah,
please don't apologize. What's your kitty's name, by the way?
this one's Mac. We have a boy-girl pair. It's Mac and Brie, and they're both orange cats. And I thought they kind of look like mac and cheese, so let's call Mac and Brie.
Oh, that's cute. I like it. Mac and Brie. Very clever.
Yeah, but Mac's usually the one that loves to be in my face.
Oh. And he's, Mama, you already did all your calls for today. Why are we going late today? This is later than
yes.
Cats know, don't they?
And I'm talking again, so you want to talk to me?
No, I remember this. You already said this. We can fast forward through all of it. So this is an offering, and I heard you say you're the type of person who likes to help people. And it's funny because when you're talking about this, Carrie, there's certain things like that I do. I'm like, everyone knows how to do this. This is easy, but it's not easy for everyone. It might come easy to you. So helping people to get their websites up and to launch their course or things like that, you might be like, oh, this is easy. Everyone knows how to do it. But the reality is that we all have different areas of expertise, and creating a website does not come easy to many. It can feel very overwhelming. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. And I find that a lot of people get really stuck on like little details that really aren't as important as honestly some easier details. So I do love help them zoom out and look and see what's actually really important on the website to make it effective and make it be their best sales tool.
Yeah, very good point. All right, so let's jump in here. So we're going to talk about, first I want to ask the question, what is Go High Level? And in our earlier session, someone said, I hadn't heard about it forever, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing about it everywhere. So tell us, what is Go High Level first?
The Go High Level is I want to say large all-in-one platform. And why I say large is because it has so many features in it. You can house courses in it. You can house memberships in it. You can have your website in it. It's a CRM. You can do calendar booking with it. You can actually, I didn't mention this earlier, but you can actually schedule your social media posts with it too. So it's like a pretty all-encompassing marketing sales tool for business owners. In some business owners are small who use it. Some business owners are really large who use it. And it also has actually e-commerce in it now too, and blogging. It has so many features I sometimes forget to mention some of them.
Podcasting as a part of it too, or is that not included?
It doesn't, but what I do is I do have one of my podcasts show notes are in the website version of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask, because I know like I'm going to use like Kajabi as like a parallel, because sometimes it's easier for people to understand like, oh, it's like this. Like Kajabi was originally created for course creators, and then they added on email and podcasting and all these other things. But it's really at its essence, it's for course creators who need like all these things. My understanding is Go High Level is more website centric. Is that correct? Or what would your parallel be? Like who is
Yeah.
Go High Level originally created for, and then they've added on some things?
Yeah, from what I understand, and I haven't really dug into this super deeply, from what I understand, though, it was meant more for a CRM and more for website type and a CRM housing place originally. And then the course creator stuff came pretty quickly, I feel like, after that, because it's very mature. And then communities are newish and they just keep adding features. But I think originally it was probably, I could
Yeah.
be wrong on this, but I
Yeah,
feel like
and
it
I
was
might be
more
wrong too. I'm
CRM-ish.
putting you on the
Yeah.
spot with this one, but
Yeah.
I feel like, and I think the point for our audience to take away from this is whatever the platform was originally based, created for, that's where they're going to be really good, because sometimes the extensions, if they're not part of what the original platform was designed for, they're backing into and creating something that isn't ideal. And I'll just use Kajabi as an example. They were created for course creators, not for podcasting. So I've heard some criticisms of their podcasting platform that there's limitations, for example, and similar to their email. And I use Kajabi, but in terms of their email, I've used like other email systems like MailChimp, and which are, they seem much more sophisticated. And even the dashboard view is much better. Kajabi feels like they cobbled it together and it's not ideal in some aspects. So, any rate, we'll let our audience investigate those things for themselves. So, there's Go High Level, there's the platform, and now you have Course Creator Suite. So, what is that?
So that is your own copy of Go High Level through us. And then what we add to it is we add that tech support and the knowledge base behind it. So what I found in the past 3 or 4 years working with coaches and course creators is that they just get so stuck in the weeds, they get stuck in the tech. And I wanted to help remove that barrier because so many of them have such great services that they could bless the world with if they could just get it out there, and they just get so stuck. So we have curated videos that are 5 to 15 minutes long. I think my longest one's 16 minutes that are very task specific. That way, you're not watching a really long video just to find out one thing. I like to try to help other business owners save time, which helps them save money so they can do more productive things. So that's why I have those videos really short. Because when I was doing my own digging, I was watching like sometimes hour-long videos and skipping through them and trying to just get to the where what I needed. And I found it frustrating. And then we also add in 2 monthly Q&As so we can come and ask questions at any time. We add more of those as more people join. We have over 30 right now in there. And right now, once a month is working out pretty well because usually once I get people rolling, they can just ask questions in the community. So then we also have a community area where people can ask questions anytime. They can email us. And then also once a month, I do a monthly implementation call where you can ask questions too. And the reason I did that is I find so many business owners just learn, especially the entrepreneur versions of us, and they don't get things done. So that's a very purposeful time where they can come and work on a specific thing in their business. But if they get stuck, I'm there if they have questions.
I like it. And we're going to talk pricing in a second, because in the back of my mind, I'm already like, I can anticipate people are like, how much does it cost in comparison to other platforms? But what I heard you say is you are providing, in, I think, group support. I think you also do some one-on-one support, but group support. So if someone decides to sign up for Course Creator Suite through you to access the Go High Level solutions, they're not just floating in an island and having to refer to an online help area, but they can actually come into the group coaching calls or the implementation calls and get your feedback or get their questions answered. Did I capture that correctly?
Yes, you did. And one of the things I've actually been really enjoying doing, honestly, with I've been using AI to help me with this. I will have it create that transcript. I've trained it to take the transcript from Zoom and really bullet point when people ask a question and who asked what question. That way, when somebody comes back and wants to rewatch their question, the replay, they can find the exact minute it was to help save them time. So I'm always like trying to find a way to save time for our members in Course Creator Suite. So that's one little tidbit I didn't say earlier that I'm actually pretty proud of how I've trained ChatGPT to really take that transcript and make it useful for the people in the group.
I love it. And as you were saying that right now, I just had a little panic moment. I was like, oh, shoot, did I enable inside? We're using Zoom to do the recording right now. And what I've realized because of today's learning experience, aka mistake, was that the AI meeting summary is captured for the entire call, even if you don't do the recording. The chat is captured for the entire Zoom call, even if you don't do the recording. The closed captioning, aka the transcript, is not captured unless you record it. So the transcript from earlier didn't capture at all. I didn't enable closed. So as you were saying that right now, I looked down. I'm like, oh shoot, did I enable the captions? And I'm not sure if it was enabled or not, but I know because the recording is running, if I click on closed captions, it's going to go through and pull the entire thing. And even if it doesn't, I can pull it out of Zoom and put it into just script or something else and pull it. But I love how you're taking the transcript and putting it into the course to help with that user experience. And now let's go back to my second part of that question, which was, do you offer one-on-one support? And I think that was one of the questions from someone earlier is, oh, I wish I would have known about you earlier, but can I just give it to you and just wipe my hands clean and have you do it all for me? Is that a service that you offer?
Yes, it's definitely a service we offer. The focus of Course Creator Suite is DIY, but we definitely have that service if people want to add it on. I want our knowledge that we give them to be enough that they can do it themselves, but certainly so many people don't have the time and would rather like maybe just edit things later but have us do it. And so we do have done for you services. If you're moving from Kajabi, if you're moving from Teachable or wherever you might be moving from, or even if you're just starting a new and are starting up a new business or maybe pivoting and rebranding yourself. So yeah, we can definitely do it for you as well.
Okay. And I remember earlier you said like the pricing on the do it for me would be based on the quote because you want to make sure you're not pricing too high or too low based on their needs. Okay. So let's
Yeah.
talk pricing because there might be people on here who are like, I was thinking about creating a WordPress site or signing up for Kajabi. So how does Go High Level and Course Creator Suite compare, or what is the price and what does it include? Maybe a better question.
Sure. So the price right now is $97 a month. That includes the full Go High Level as you would see it if you went to their website and looked at the features for their 97 a month offer. And then it also includes our support, which is our Q&A calls, our curated videos, our community, all those things. So it's all included in there in that, as well as we're doing a 30-day trial currently for it. So that way it can help people if they do want to transition, they have that month that they can start moving things over and not be billed for two platforms.
Okay. And I'll just speak from a Kajabi user perspective too. I think the version of Kajabi I'm paying for right now, it's the base level. It's not like the most expensive, but I think they just went from $199 a month up to $249 a month. And then from recalling earlier, the base version of Go High Level, your Course Creator Suite was $99, but then there's some add-ons for email. Could you explain that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. The base level of Go High Level is 97 a month, includes everything. The only add-ons would be like if you wanted to use it for email marketing, then it's a small fraction of a penny per email. You can also use text marketing with it. It has even what's it called? WhatsApp. Like
Text.
it can integrate with WhatsApp too, and then
Okay.
text marketing. And so those are like a small add-on. So for example, for our agency email marketing, about $10 gets you almost 10,000 emails. So
Wow.
it's super affordable. So it's 0.00. I can't do the math in my head that fast, but it's less, it's a fraction of a penny.
And I'm going to be very transparent too. Like I've been talking to you for a little while about Go High Level and your Course Creator Suite, and I'm intrigued. And it's going to be less expensive than Kajabi, but it's also that, oh, I got to launch a new website. I got to move everything over. And I know that they do have something in there where you can like export your Kajabi courses. Tell me about
Mhm.
that a little bit. What's included? If I were to say today, Carrie, I want to do this, I want to move over, or someone else is thinking about moving over from Kajabi to Course Creator Suite, what do I have to start from scratch, and what will port over using the in solution? I don't know what it's called.
Sure. Yeah. So we have quite a few people who are moving or have moved from Kajabi into it. And so it can import your courses and it pulls everything over except for the downloadables, which are pretty easy to just move over yourself by hand. You would have to unfortunately create your landing pages still, or your lead magnet pages or things like that, or your website, because really moving from one platform to another, you have to hand create that anyway. It can import blog posts from WordPress. So if you do have WordPress, it can import your blog posts. It's very effective at doing that. I tried that over a year and a half, about a year and a half ago, and it was pretty effective then. So I'm sure it's even better now. And you can also import like your contacts. So somebody recently who moved from Kajabi exported their contacts from Kajabi and imported them in to our Course Creator Suite without problems, and we're up and running pretty quickly. It can import some things, but other things have to be manual. And we do have some, going back to the DIY, we do have some clients who have days, and
Yeah.
so we let them into our learning area so they can learn all the things too. And then one client, for example, we did one of each thing. So we did one course, one lead magnet, one quiz, and then there was four different things. I can't remember the fourth one, but we did one of each. That way their VA had an example to work from, and then they could use the clone feature and duplicate things and run with all the other elements, which helped them learn and was more cost effective because they already had the VA hired to work with them monthly. So
Yeah, the VAs are a lot less expensive than working with you. Obviously, you get the hourly rate. You're paying what you get for, but sometimes you just need hands. You just need the hands running
right.
on things. Do they offer WordPress integration? If you have a WordPress site, can I pull WordPress over into Course Creator Suite, or do I have to start from scratch there?
They do actually offer WordPress as an upsell. I believe that's $15 a month extra. It's something we haven't had any clients utilize yet, but it is something that you can do where you have WordPress and Go High Level
Oh, so
running
it
at
just
the same
integrates.
time.
It's not moving it
Yeah.
from one to another, but it's integrating. And I
Yeah.
remember now that you're speaking about this too, when I was first thinking about making the move to Kajabi, it was when I was launching my first course. And I did look at Teachable and Thinkific, and I think each of them I signed up for a free 30-day trial, and I just put one lesson in there just to see what it was like. And I liked Kajabi. I like their interface, but I also like that it was an all-in-one. And I do the fact that there's competition in the market because competition benefits us as consumers. If there was just one solution, they could charge whatever they want and they could continue to raise the rates and there's nothing that we can do. But when there's different players that are coming into the market, it helps to keep the prices down, but it also helps to keep them on their toes so that they're offering features and services and even like customer service and things like that that are helping them to be competitive. Because if we're not happy with Kajabi, we're going to move around or vice versa. Anything, does that bring up any thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, actually it does because the I was on Kajabi before, I was on Go High Level, so I've experienced both. And one thing I found was with Go High Level, I can get questions so much faster. I can literally jump on a Zoom call. I can go click on a button and I'm in a Zoom call within usually 15 minutes and get a question answered. Or I can drop them an email or we can schedule a call and they'll do one with me. The one thing that Go High Level does differently than Kajabi and why they can keep their price so low is they have agencies like us that do the tech support for them. So they are providing tech support to us and we provide the tech support to the people who have signed up underneath us, unlike Kajabi, where it's usually you're directly with Kajabi. So they have a lot more people to help. So I think that's one of the reasons they're able to keep their prices low is because they've distributed the help
Yeah.
across the ones that are agencies.
And I have to say, as a longtime Kajabi user, I've been on the site for probably 4 years now. I'd have to look back. But when I first came on, I used to be able to get into chat with a real life person at Kajabi, like a tech support person. And they were good at answering questions or figuring out or escalating it. And they were like almost apologetic when they couldn't answer it inside the session. And then they would have to follow up through email. And it usually got answered within 12 to 24 hours afterwards. Nowadays, it's all AI. And I'll ask the AI a question. I had a issue recently with one of my recipe members who got his emails were bouncing and he couldn't figure out why and I couldn't figure out why. And we did some troubleshooting back and forth. And then I went to Kajabi and I said, here's what's happening. And I was in a chat with a bot and the bot kept putting me in this loop. And then I finally got an agent and I had to explain everything to them again. And then they pushed me over to email and then it finally got escalated. And I think a week later they came back and they said, oops, we figured out what it was and we made the oops not happen anymore. So he should be fine. And then I had to go back to him. And I think it's because, as you mentioned, Kajabi is serving all of their customers and they really haven't decentralized customer service. It's all going up through the same pipe. So they decided to go to AI to try to use their bots to resolve issues. And at the same time, they're increasing their prices. So I'm definitely nearing that tipping point. But for me, it's always a matter of, oh, I have to sit down to do all this before, but at some point I will be moving over and then I'll have the experience that I can speak about from there. What I'd like to do now, Carrie, is we're going to open up the floor to see if any of our Marketing with Meller members who are on the call, if they have any questions for you. We're talking today with Carrie about Go High Level and her solution, which is called Course Creator Suite. So if there's anyone on the call, you can either wave your hand like I'm doing physically right now, or you can use the Zoom raise hand feature and ask a question. And I see Liz has her hand raised, so we'll go with you first.
In the prior session, I had asked about the done for you services, and you had made a couple of points that I think are important to reiterate. One, that yes, you can definitely create a custom package to provide that support. You also can teach our VAs so that they can get the skill set transferred over from whatever platform we're on to the new platform. And you gave this great example about how you show them how to do one of everything, and then they can just replicate that and use those skill sets to onboard and transition everything else. I think another interesting thing that you mentioned, and I just want to make sure that I heard this right, is that typically, depending on how much somebody has to move and how much time and effort they have available to do it, you try to get it all done in a month because you offer a free month. And that way they don't have to pay for two platforms at the same time. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, yeah, I'm all about helping the business owner reduce their costs when possible. And I feel like it's unnecessary to pay for two platforms if you don't have to. So, yeah, we definitely try to help them get moved over in time or show them a way to do it stepwise that is less painful for them.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Liz, and thanks for being on and for helping to reiterate some of those earlier questions. So we appreciate that. I know Pam Lippett's hanging out in the background there. Pam, do you have any questions you would like to ask of Carrie? I'm putting you on the spot, but we're a smallish group, so I feel comfortable, and you're a friend, so I feel comfortable. Do you have any questions for Carrie about Go High Level or Course Creator Suite?
Sadly, I joined late, so I don't really have any questions. I'll be watching the playback as well. I'm not on a full platform right now. I still have a Wix website, and for now, that's working for me. So maybe you can talk talk again about the difference between the all-in-one platform. Wix also has a course section between that and the specific course, like High Level and those programs.
Sure. So I think from what I've worked with Wix, not a whole lot. Usually our clients aren't on Wix, but the one thing that really makes Go High Level stand out is the CRM that's built into it. Everything that happens on your website all goes into one customer's record. You know when they filled out a form, they know what the answers were. When they booked a call, you can see how much money they've spent with you. You can see that lifetime value of that customer. So one of the really big advantages to Go High Level, even if you may not be ready for it for courses, is that it has that CRM built in. And it can even take messages from like Instagram and Facebook and put them in the conversation tab, and you can see that whole conversation you had with a client. So it's really the CRM is the big powerhouse behind it, but then it also really does courses well, and it does websites really well too.
Okay.
And it does a calendar booking too, which I'm not sure I mentioned on this version of the call, but it's calendar booking too, which is really handy because then it's all in there.
Yeah, that's good. And Carrie, I just dropped a question in chat for you, so I'll let you read that question.
Sure.
Earlier today, I asked Carrie, I said, do you want to do a screen share? And she said, sure, if there's an opportunity, and if someone has a specific question that they'd like to ask. The question I put into chat, if that's something you would like to do, you can. If not, I can just edit this part out of it. But I was thinking earlier, because you said it was originally created with a CRM component as the platform. So if you can share, if you'd like to share your screen to show it, I would love to see the CRM. And if you want to share my contact record, I don't mind. I have purchased a course from Carrie, and I'm curious to see what it's been tracking, and you can use me as your guinea pig, so to speak.
Sure, let me switch over there real quick. And then get it to a point where it's just you, so I'm not showing other customers' information.
And we're amongst friends here too, so I normally might say, is that okay? Is that interesting to everyone? But I'm leading the call here today, so you guys have to do what I tell you.
Yeah.
But I do, all
So
kidding aside, I wanted to ask Carrie privately through chat because I'm not sure what it's showing inside here. Okay, so and for
yeah,
podcast listeners, you're not going to be able to see this unless you join Marketing with Meller. So if you join, you can get the behind the scenes. But all kidding aside, you could probably reach out to Carrie and she'll probably do a demo or have a
yeah.
video or something for
I'd
you.
be
So,
happy to do it.
yeah.
Yeah. So I went ahead and selected on the contacts, but I went ahead and started searching your name. So it only shows you and your contact information. So here's you, Brenda Meller. We can see now this is going to look a little busy. I will warn you that, but that's because there's a lot of information here. But once you understand where things are, it's really easy to use. So this is your whole contact information. If you filled out any of these forms, I've got tags here for you. Since you've joined the course that I had, you've done my free mini course, my free SEO mini course. You went to my webinar in April of 2025, and specifically the 16th. You were in cohort 2. So I can see all these things pretty easily here. I can see any automations you flowed through. So I can see everything you've done there. Any sort of conversation we've had would be in this area here.
Can I ask a question about that, Carrie?
Yeah.
Is that both conversations where I've responded to your newsletters as well as any one-off conversations that we've had through email?
This is more of conversations within Go High Level. I don't have my email coming in here, so
Gotcha.
that's not in here, but you can do that if you want. And then here's just general activity. Like I can look back at your history with me. Here's October 17th, and then it goes back, or I think it goes the other direction. And then I can have tasks for you that are for me for you. I can have any notes, appointments, I bet this is where we did a podcast maybe, or maybe we just did a coffee chat back in October 24. This also, Go High Level also does contracts and contract signing, which is very nice. So if you had done any contract signing, that would be in here. We can look at your payments across like the whole time, and then related objects is a little different. Now, the other CRM-ish thing, which I think should be fine to show here, is you can create pipelines on whatever kind of pipelines you want. So this is my affiliate pipeline. So I can see who submitted an application. These are just me testing. And so you can create all kinds of different pipelines in here. You can create, here's my podcast booking pipeline. So I can see who's booked a call in my podcast. Now, if I were utilizing this a little bit more, I would be moving people over to Podcast Done, but you can also do CRM-ish things where they're in a pipeline. People can get moved through the pipeline automatically through their automations as well, depending upon what they've done or what they've interacted with on your website too. So that's just a little quick overview. I don't want to go too deep.
This is awesome. And
Yeah.
I was once using Pipedrive, and I want to say, I don't know, it was like $1.99 a month. It wasn't cheap. I remember whatever it was, but it was really designed for people who are heavily doing sales prospecting and follow up and whatnot. And I tried it for, I think, a few months, and I'm like, it's just too expensive. It's too expensive and I'm not using all the features of it. The fact that it's included with Go High Level would be very appealing to me. And that was something we didn't get to do earlier. So thank you for telling me to do. All right. Any final questions from the group before we wrap up? I wanted to keep it to 30 minutes, and we're about at that right now. All right. Carrie, any final thoughts for us or anything you'd like to share about Go High Level, about Course Creator Suite before we wrap up?
Just if anybody wants to learn more information, they can just go to coursecreatorsuite.com, or they can email us at info@coursecreatorsuite.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And you're welcome to find me on LinkedIn. I'm the original Carrie Saunders on LinkedIn. There's no numbers after my name. And I'm also on Facebook. You can just look up Carrie Saunders on Facebook and probably find me.
All right, perfect. Could you drop both that email and the link into the chat before you leave here today?
Sure.
And I'll make sure that gets into the playback area as well as in the podcast show notes area for us as well.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Carrie Saunders, and learned a lot about her Course Creator Suite here today, focused on the Go High Level platform. Really great information. And thank you, Carrie, for being so gracious as to come back on and talk about this the second time. I think we did really good the first time, but I have to say we added some additional stuff in on the second time. So I'm glad that our learning experience, AKA mistake, occurred today. And thank you, Carrie, for your time. If you happen to have a call that goes really well and you forget to record the whole thing, like what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull from the available resources. If I have a transcript or whatever, we'll figure it out, Carrie, and we'll work on it together. But I just want to thank everyone so much for joining us for here today. And Carrie, any final thoughts for us as we wrap up our conversation?
I feel like it's just a good idea to take it one step at a time, have that confidence, and don't be afraid to move forward.
instead of do them, I'm going to pull up real quick the Marketing with Meller upcoming events. I like to do this at the end of every call, just to remind all of you about what's coming up next. In my efficient marketer's way of reminding you, I'm not going to say lazy marketer because my friend Pam Lippett said, you got to stop using that word lazy. My efficient marketing technique here is I put all of our upcoming events on the sign up page for Marketing with Meller. So if you go to mellermarketing.com/join, I have the upcoming list of calendar events that are in here. And I want to just give a quick overview of what's coming up next. I typically will offer at least 3 live virtual sessions every month. Some months we have more, but it will always be at least 3. Our next session is going to be on Monday, March 23rd. So roughly a week from today, we're going to do a masterclass viewing party. And for those who participated with us in the first time around, what we're going to do is we're going to come into the session. If anyone has an idea of a past masterclass that they'd like to watch again, you can suggest the idea. Or you might say, have you ever done one on email newsletters? And I'll be like, yeah, and we'll pull it out. And then I'm going to play it up on screen. And as we're playing it, Elaine might be watching with me and she might say, hey, Brenda, I have a question. And I'll stop the video and then we'll answer the question and then we'll watch the rest of it. Now, all of the past masterclasses have been 1 hour, and the viewing party is going to be 90 minutes. So we'll have time for 30 minutes of Q&A that will go along with it. So it's the benefit of watching something from the program resource library with access to me live to get to ask questions. Okay. So I would encourage you, if you're thinking about coming out for that, if there's a specific lesson you'd like to watch, you can suggest it. If not, we'll come on the session together and we'll look through the masterclass library and we'll take a vote on which one we'd like to watch together. So that will be next Monday, March 23rd. Our roundtable discussion for March will be on Monday, March 30th from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about onboarding a new client and the processes that we go through when we're signing on a new client. Everything from getting a discovery call in place, getting a contract in place, all the way through, and share as much as you'd like. When you're onboarding a new client, what are the steps that you go through? So everyone will have the opportunity to participate in that, or you can just come in and listen on if you'd like to. And that's only open for Marketing with Meller members. In April, we have our office hours that will be on, it's typically on the second Friday. In this case, we've got a couple holidays. I've got some things going on in April, so I needed to move it to a Monday. So I just want to let you know, this will be on Monday, April 13th from 3 to 4 instead of on a Friday. So just make sure you're aware of that. On Wednesday, April 15th, I thought about another roundtable to do, and that was a to-do list tips discussion. I want to lead this discussion and we'll ask people, how are you creating your to-do list and how are you being productive with? Is it a paper copy? Is it a Trello board? Is it a full focus planner? We're going to talk about what we do for our to-do lists that are in there. Liz, I saw your hand was raised. Did you have a question?
I have a challenge. So I see this list, but this list on the website is not clickable. So then I signed in, I went to the calendar, but several of these are not on the calendar. So I don't know how to put them on my calendar.
Yeah. So thank you for asking that. So I use add event and I don't make it clickable from here because you have to be a member to add these to your calendar. But I always will put this in your email. So in every email that you get from me, there'll be like here's a list of your upcoming events. Click here to add to calendar. And it's going to be this link. This link will never change in here. So let me go back here and I'm going to drop this into the chat. And if you go to this add event webpage, it will automatically add all of the upcoming events in this series, in addition to any new events. I believe all the new events come into your calendars too, don't they? Are you all getting these? Yes, no? Royce?
Yes,
Elaine?
I think I am.
Tom?
Yep.
Tom, thank you, Tom. I'm like,
You're welcome.
Bueller? Has any?
Right.
I thought it was
Holler
happening.
A little louder, Brenda. A little
It's
louder.
happening to me. I don't know if it's happening to anyone else, but I'm like, they're coming into my calendar. So I just assumed all of you, but I'm like, maybe they're not working for everybody else on here. So yeah. So Liz, if you go to that add event page, you should be able to add everything. And then in addition, for the upcoming events, when I send you like the 1 week to go, 1 day to go, 1 hour to go, there'll be a link for the specific upcoming event in there as well. Does that help, Liz? Or do you have any other questions or suggestions about that?
No, I think this will work.
Okay, perfect. All right. Then also in April, we have our Small Business Marketing Summit, which I'm technically including as our masterclass. It's really a half-day event, but it is an educational session. And I'm in the final stages right now of confirming our speaker list, which will only include Marketing with Meller members. All speaking spots have been filled, and I'm now in the careful dance phase of asking people if they could sit this one out so we can have someone else in the place and trying to make those decisions. But I think we're just about there. If you've been added to the group thread for the event as a speaker, you're locked in. I'll be following up with you for details. And I have a couple people I'm just confirming some details on right now. And then I'll start to open up the registration page. I've started building it already, but I need to get like speakers and topics lined in for that. And we're perfect timing. Right now, I'm doing final promotion for an event I'm doing tomorrow for the recipe, and then I'm changing gears into the Small Business Marketing Summit. So we'll be full steam ahead for that event in April. All right. With that said, I'm going to stop the recording. We'll figure out what we can do with the recording if there was not one for today. And I will see you all again next Monday.